in the work of war automation and put the work of mankind's mutual destruction to a new level. Their compact, powerful, and importantly extremely cheap maneuverability. It's pride. It's also the headache of the great powers. What I'm talking about is the UAE. This weapon is the future of war. They've become development targets of a wide range of countries in hot spots around the world. But, as an inevitable law of life, everything grows out of conflict. The birth of the UAE also led to, we'll never give up these systems. Let's find out in today's video. Welcome to Butterfly the Narrator. Night the 13th of October 2024. A sudden attack of Hezbollah. It has stunned Israel. In some way, weapons that are considered to have been fixed by them can get through again? A series of advanced Israeli air defense systems. Hundreds of Israeli soldiers were killed in just one night. Immediately after this horrific attack, the United States had to quickly deploy the Cascade system to protect our allies. Hezbollah launched a UAV cup to the base of the Golani Brigade, EDF in Begamia Namta phase injured more than 100 soldiers. There are 10 seriously injured. 4 soldiers were killed. Not only that, but on Israeli social media, a bunch of bits of information about the Israeli Army Chief of Staff, Harry Haley, was killed in the attack. According to the Israeli newspaper Jerusalem, this is false information, but they couldn't produce any evidence to prove that Harry Harlevy. It's peaceful. There's too many people injured, so much so that they had to be taken to 8 different hospitals. In some way, the UAE of Hezbollah, it's broken through Israel's defense system without being discovered and attacked the building at the most crowded time. This makes the people of Israel very nervous. It feels like you've just spent $1 billion to build up our defense system. Then I saw my opponent's weapon through it. It's like nothing ever happened. According to an initial investigation by the Israeli military, launched a UAE targeting a military base in the town of Begamia. This is a suicide mise UVB sample that's supposed to origin from Iran. Both serve of Hezbollah attack. The Israeli military did not say that this UAE hit a target at the base. More than 100 regular soldiers. This has shown that air defense systems around this base was undetectable before the UAE. And this is an incredible thing. With a force considered to have an army and modern technology top of the world, according to sources from Hezbollah said they've used drones equipped with Russian-made S-year engine. This UAE is capable of carrying 3 small missiles. It is capable of firing bullets towards the target. It is possible to fall to suicide. According to this capable operating range of 250 kilometers. It's capable of covering the terrain and emitting low heat. It's hard to detect by radar, and it's very hard to intercept in the dark. Indeed, if we look at the recent attack, you can see that they're dangerous. Only to UAE cars that Hezbollah was able to do. Then it will come out. If there's a saturation type attack, with hundreds of different UAE, like other times, they found the loopholes in the Israeli air defense system. Israel's air defense system, it can intercept and destroy most missiles towards this country, but they're designed primarily to counter missiles and rockets, but it's not for drones, which is characterized by being able to launch from fly low and slow again. They can change direction quickly and fly over the terrain. Actually, it's not the first time that Hezbollah exploited this vulnerability. 3 days before the Kia base tragedy, Hezbollah also used a low-flying UVB aircraft to invade Israeli territory. One was shot down by an Israeli helicopter, and the other one went straight into a nursing home in the coastal city of Hetley, central Israel. Damage to this place. Fortunately, there were no casualties. It's really Israel has left deadly holes in their air defense systems. They're focused on modern weapons, has high speed, but we're missing the simplest things. Not just Israel. Another front is also using the UAE with enormous density. That's Ukraine. But it's been a long time. We haven't heard of any UAE cases on either side. That's got half. Or the laser weapons. It was not tested. Air defense is currently underestimated, even though this is a weapon that should never be ignored. In the conflict, in general, artillery should take precedence over missiles. The cost per shot is much lower, as well as their available ammunition, than conventional air defense missiles and shoulder-mounted rockets. Here's their assessment. At the beginning of the war between Russia and Ukraine, and after more than 2 years, the battlefield proved that this claim is true. When a weapon against the UAE, it is used the most by Ukraine, are anti-aircraft artillery transferred from the former Soviet Union. During the early part of the war, while other countries trying to salvage the missile inventory from the old Eastern European countries to switch to for Ukraine, there is only Germany is to send them about 30 self-propelled anti-aircraft artillery systems. And after the impressive performance, previous Russian Ginta UAVs, the United States has buy 50 GEPA systems from Jordan and continue to send to Ukraine. American Rambo Media Product Company signed a contract worth $118 million with the Pentagon about shopping content and supply of self-propelled artillery GEPA Cho Keller. The production speed is not and the battlefield is urgent. So, the United States acquisition of 60 GEPA systems from the and send to Ukraine. Hundreds of systems sounds like a lot, but compared to the thousands of kilometers of Kiev's front lines, it doesn't seep in. Good luck for Ukraine is that they've also inherited a huge arsenal of weapons from the Soviet era. The most famous ones are Ju-2B-A2 and To-B-A4. These are the infamous air defense systems from the Soviet era. You just need to do some basic Google searches. You'll see that their images are common on the Eastern Front. I'm sorry they're so old. And there's also rust. This also shows that Ukraine's defense industry for a long time I've lost myself due to corruption before the war. Old equipment that is not properly maintained. It is a pity for a country that Vietnam, we used to have to send people to maintenance schools and invite experts to upgrade weapons. But in the end, it's better than nothing, and the Yuka battlefield has shown. Soviet weapons. What is the meaning of the stone? When Ukraine was able to set up all kinds of artillery from 10 years 45-10 onto a pickup truck to increase maneuverability, you can lower the barrel when needed and stick it straight at the enemy infantry. On the opposite side, Russia has also deployed thousands of artillery systems. Not only that, Russia has also launched anti-aircraft specialized for UV protection, bearing to S-38 Diavachipvo. The facts of the battle show that air defense or low-level air defense systems, this is the real nightmare of the UAE. Meanwhile, the infamous air defense systems sliced into expensive pieces. Sometimes they seem helpless before these simple weapons. One of the problems is how to destroy the UAE with the cheapest cost. Scary spots of UAE types of suicide. It's that they just fluctuate. $15 million, $5,000 apiece. Even the long-range reconnaissance versions. There is also only $50 billion, $120,000, the price of the missiles. It's too expensive. For example, the price of a bullet in a Nissan system that Ukraine uses today, up to $2 million a shot. In Alaska, German SLM also costs up to $500,000 each. But that Russia imports from Iran, and their local version is Kongin too. That's the story of the world, and with Vietnam, we can see, in the most recent exercises, air defense artillery force has also been a complete transformation. Vietnam is a country used to create anti-aircraft flares and the most dangerous in human history. These are not words. It's the assessment of the U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff. He wrote it in his memoir as follows. Air defense forces of Vietnam. It's the scariest and most complete thing that American pilots have made. Let's talk about Vietnam's air defense network. In the war, many people will immediately think of SAM-2 and Mike-2. These are the two weapons that have branded the faction. When to 1907 BA, when the United States withdrew and the sky's firepower is severely weakened, the whole new missile unit is deployed. Before that, for 7 years, against the world's most powerful air force. The liberators only had machine guns, anti-aircraft artillery, and shoulder-mounted anti-aircraft over 8,000 of them here. That's it. How dangerous low-level air defense fire nets are. That's why in the 1990s, to modernize the Vietnamese military, we always focus on demolition units, air room, and see them as part of an anti-aircraft fire protect grid. The sky. Mention of the low-level air defense network in Ukraine. We've seen their self-defense units many times. When he met the UAE, young shot. Many people say that it's like an anti-aircraft fire like net. Vietnam in the past. But say so. Is too low an assessment? That's the combat level of the Vietnamese public and we're defense. Also getting this force wrong. In wartime, air defense units of Vietnam mainly ambush and pick up positions, and the flight path that American planes take. Currently, Vietnam does not disclose the number of anti-aircraft guns. Many documents claim that it is based about 5,000 anti-aircraft artillery to 100 cups, aid primarily in the war with the Americans and China. After 1907 motors, Vietnam today is building a multi-layered air defense network combining and complementing each other with high-powered artillery at low altitude, medium and long-range air defense missiles and the Air Force. Not to mention the 06-year-old and high-radiation units 12 Li-7, as well as coordinating shoulder-to-shoulder missile strikes. Understand the general principle of all guns. It's taking down targets with fire intensity, a ray teeth to catch the target. It's not a bullet to hit too far when shooting in the air. They usually use bullets to break apart. When it explodes, it creates hundreds or even thousands of 10 rounds in a matter of seconds. It's a giant grid. And pick up targets like UAE cruise missile planes. At the speed at which the targets are flying, just a few small pieces, it's enough for the target to fall on the spot or off course. But want to spread the bullet effectively. Is the story here? It's in a cannon that has to be a cannon. It's not slow or backward because the current systems, it just falls into this range. In the past, the coordination was entirely up to you. Shoot all the same thing. Of course, there's going to be a rapid as well as slow from the second round onwards. It depends on the loading speed of each person, and that's why Sao has, since 2004, Vietnam has carried out automation topics. The Aperture 57, for example, an electric trigger system. To get the commander to press is that the whole aperture is simultaneously It's not hard for you to see this on the Vietnam Defense Channel. Anyone wonder that at Sao, there's already an electric trigger system and still make soldiers practice. Manual control is not in there. In fact, it's about training soldiers. It's automatic. But the battlefield hundreds of thousands of possible scenarios. If there is a problem, don't sit still. You should remember that. $200 million. There was an error went wrong. What does the battlefield say about destroying the hotel? That's why we can't trust the machines 100% right away. Even in the war between Russia and Ukraine, parachutes ESU to Persian, SkyX and Gepa both have radar systems and automatic shooting system. But the battlefield conditions suggest that Russia's electronic warfare system is so powerful that these systems are almost impossible to use. According to Ukrainian soldiers, they're mostly using optical viewfinders, then calculate to shoot more. It's using these systems, or simply to sweat in the field. The battlefield will bleed less. Out of automatic out capability, Vietnam is also upgrading with optical electronic sight shoot system all day and all night. On the other hand, to optimize, Vietnam also conducts integration of SSUV built-in rockets where one open, create multi-layered firepower to intercept the target. Such is the case of Israel-Ukraine. We can see that anti-aircraft artillery or low-level air defense systems in general, it's never been an outdated thing, actually.
What do you think about this issue? Please leave a comment below for everyone to know and discuss. Goodbye and see you again.